Good evening, everyone. I am Rick Hanna, President of the Ontario Aquatic Hall of Fame. We are especially pleased to be making tonight's inductions. They are the first in 2 years, and they recognize two high-achieving individuals who were taken far too soon from us. To begin, I wish to make the following acknowledgement. As we gather today in celebration of the swimming community, we respectfully acknowledge that all across Ontario we are meeting on Aboriginal land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. As stewards of land and water resources, the Aquatic Hall of Fame appreciates and respects the history and diversity of the land. We thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to this place. We also recognize the contributions of Métis, Inuit, and other Indigenous peoples have made, both in shaping and strengthening our community, our province, and country as a whole. It is now my honor to turn over the balance of the proceedings to Hall of Fame board member and 2018 inductee, Jenna Lambert.
Thank you, Rick. Good evening, everyone, esteemed colleagues, family and friends of our honored inductees, and valued guests. My name is Jenna Lambert, Ontario Aquatic Hall of Fame inductee in 2018 and member of the Board of Directors. I have the privilege of acting as your MC this evening, and I must say what an honor it is to be with you tonight despite these complex times, to highlight the important contributions and careers of our inductees, coaches Murray Drudge and Kevin Thorburn. It is with deep sorrow that we cannot celebrate their successes and contributions to aquatic sports in person during their lifetimes, but we're grateful for this opportunity to honor their substantial positive impact and memory with family, friends, and folks who had a special part in their journey and were touched by their lives. At this time, please direct your attention to the following video, which will highlight some of the important contributions and successes of coach and builder Murray Drudge.
Murray Drudge is considered one of the top coaches in Canada. He spent 5 decades in our sport as both an athlete and a coach. Coach Drudge led many successful athletes onto both national and provincial teams, brought multiple Canadian clubs to national prominence, established numerous national and provincial records, and mentored many coaches along the way. Coach Drudge was a volunteer coach with the Ontario High Performance Centre and a longtime head coach of the North York Aquatic Club. He successfully coached over 50 national age group records and over 100 Ontario and Saskatchewan provincial records. He was a national and provincial team staff member at numerous games, including coaching at the 1986 Moscow national team and London national team and the 1987 Hapoel Games in Israel. From 1989 to 1993, he was Canada Games head coach for Saskatchewan. In 1994, he coached in the 8 Nations in Cadiz, Spain, the 2009 British Grand Prix, the 2010 Junior Pan-Pacific team, the 2013 FINA World Junior Swimming Championship team in Dubai, and the 2019 FINA World Junior Swimming Championship team in Budapest. Individually, Murray coached 1987 national champion Christine Hashimoto in the 200 free and 1988 Olympic team member Anne-Marie Anderson. He coached the decorated Julia Wilkinson, who is a national medalist and Olympian and Canadian record holder, Michelle Toro Williams, a national medalist and an Olympic bronze medalist, and Josh Liendo, a national record holder who went on to represent Canada at the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. Coach Drudge was recognized as the 2005 Ontario High Performance Coach of the Year and the 2013 Swimming Canada Junior Coach of the Year. His colleague Jim Snow described Coach Drudge as always welcoming, always smiling, always driven, so very proud of his swimmers, a class act who will be missed. There are few on deck who had the same respect and positive influence. In an interview with Swimming Canada, Coach Sean Baker said, "Everybody that worked with him learned from him. There's a little bit of Murray in whatever I do." Baker went on to say passion, pride, discipline, and loyalty were the foundations of Murray's coaching mantra, but he also had mentoring skills beyond most and imparted so much to both his athletes and his coaches. Swim Ontario CEO Dean Bowles, when describing Coach Drudge, said, "The whole principle is that everything we're trying to instill into the kids are going to be transferable characteristics and habits that will make them successful in life. Out of that process, you will inevitably have good swimmers." This is what Coach Drudge exemplified. A story that depicts Coach Murray's strong values that he expected of himself, his coaching staff, and his swimmers was related by Coach Baker. "We were in Regina and competing to be top 3 or 4 at senior nationals. For Regina, that was a big deal. We had won youth championships and were really moving. We made a mistake in our girls' relay at nationals and our girls swam out of order, but the officials missed it. Murray went right over to the officials about 5 minutes after the race and said, 'I've got to let you know that we swam out of order and we need to be honest about it.' The relay was disqualified." Of Coach Drudge, fellow inductee Kevin Thorburn said, "He really was very ethical, at his core a very decent person." Michelle Toro Williams expressed, "He had an enormous impact on my life and who I am as a person. He was the first person to really believe in me, and he never, ever, ever gave up on me. I can't put into words how much I owe him and how big an influence he had on my life. He's one of those people who shape who you are. He's a part of my foundation."
Just want to say a few words about Coach Murray Drudge being inducted into the Ontario Aquatic Hall of Fame. The first thing I wanted to say was I can't think of a more deserving coach than Murray. He had been coaching in Ontario most of his life and also contributing to the Canadian scene as well, the national scene, for all of his career. I first met him when he was at Etobicoke Swim Club and thought he was an amazing coach then, and that's continued over many, many years. When I think of Murray, I think of integrity, compassion, intelligence, great teacher, excellence-oriented. And with Murray, it was about leading by example. He did that very, very well. And any athlete that worked with him felt that they were very well taken care of. They could trust him. They knew they could rely on him and that he was going to help bring out the best in them. So that was a real quality that he had. Murray and I were great friends, great colleagues for many, many years. I considered him to be part of my family. Loved the man tremendously. And it was a sad loss for us to lose Murray. But I know that he'd be very, very proud of the fact that he was being inducted into the Ontario Aquatic Hall of Fame. He's certainly, like I said earlier, well deserving of that, and his contribution was immense and very, very deep across Canadian swimming. So congratulations to Murray. I know he'd be very, very proud. So anyway, take care, guys. All the best.
What I love about Uncle Murray is because he was very nice, and I went to his house and he came to my house, and he went to my hockey, and we went in his backyard for the Jumpy Castle, and we had dinner there, and that's what I love about Uncle Murray. I love about Uncle Murray. I was jumping on the car. I was jumping on the trampoline and eating dinner at his house and not sleeping over.
The sport is swimming. And as we all know, he produced champions in whatever city, wherever he was, whenever he coached. The fun part was walking on the pool deck and listening to Murray talk. And yes, he could talk. But everything that he said was illuminating and enlightening. You learned something from Murray. And a lot of his swimmers would attest to that, and certainly the fellow coaches on the deck. He made our great sport even better. We'll miss you, Murray.
Murray Drudge was a fun guy, nice guy to be around, had a love for the sport, he was always, always pushing me to be the best athlete I can be. He was always there for me. He was always like cracking jokes and having fun. That's something I always remembering him for. I remember him giving me a ride in the Corvette. Like we would always like go take some rides in the Corvette, and that was a lot of fun. I remember him, with Nyack, and just like the way he interacted with others was just great. The person he was, he's a big part of the person that I am today. He helped me grow as an athlete, and he helped me, get onto that Olympic team. He's a big part of my success, and I give him a lot of credit for the person I am right now. And this, Murray, congratulations to being inducted into the Hall of Fame. It just shows the hard work that you've put in, and
Hey
congratulations.
everybody, Sean Baker from the Markham Aquatic Club. I was asked to say a few words about Coach Murray, and well, what do you say about a guy that gave me every break that I could ever hope for? He was a friend. He opened his doors at the Regina Optimus Dolphins when I was a young coach in Winnipeg. Slept on his floor over Christmas break, and it was, my career took off from there because of my influence from him and Kevin. We had a great week in Regina over Christmas training. I just had my eyes open to what was tough and what was good and what was fast. And he was always there for me in terms of not only personal support, but coaching questions, life advice, and most of all, just a great friend. So, traveling through the few years that we were out west, and then to see at one point that Coach Kevin, Coach Murray, and myself all ended up in the GTA. What a great time to be in the GTA. It was just fierce competition, best of friends. And one of the things I'll miss the most is being able to go out for supper with those guys and be able to pick their brain and trust their opinions and basically, share those good times. But anyone that's been touched by Coach Murray, as you can see in the background, what kind of influence that he had. So we always talked about building great people, and in return we would build great programs and have fast swimming. So this picture was taken on the final night of our training camp in Barbados, I think somewhere around 2014, and we ended it off with a group karaoke, and we kind of surprised the kids. For most of it, we were sitting back just watching and having a good time and seeing kind of who stepped into the limelight and who was shying away from it. And then Murray and I sang the song "You've Lost That Lovin' Feeling" from the Top Gun soundtrack, and had a good time that night. Let's leave it at that. So this is one of my lasting memories with Coach Murray. I'm so happy he's being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Very, very appropriate, and unfortunately way too soon, but an honor nonetheless. Coach Murray, here's to you.
Dear Jacob Murray, we would like to tell you about the man that you were named after. In life, you get to meet and interact with very many people. You'll have your family, your cousins, uncles, grandparents. You'll have your teachers, coaches, and people you admire and look up to. And if you're lucky, you'll have someone like Murray Drudge. We both got to know Murray the way you suspect most people did, at the pool when we were young teenagers. He had a very quick and profound impact on our lives. He had a capacity to believe in us so sincerely that we had no choice but to start believing too. And most importantly, he never stopped, even at our lowest points. When doubt crept in, we could find a helping hand, someone to support us, and someone to help us back up. Murray only ever asked in return that we were honest with ourselves and worked hard. As athletes, he challenged us and taught us invaluable lessons, like how to persevere and commit to our goals, but also to manage disappointments in life by never being disheartened. These were things that he taught us as a coach, but by watching the way he carried himself through the world, we also learned so much from him about life, of how far a small act of kindness can travel, and how to see the big picture when sometimes you're so obsessed by what's right in front of you. After swimming, we continued to learn from Murray by seeing how he interacted with his family, his wife Rosie, and even his pets. Even your doggy, Waldy, loved Murray at first sight, and you know he can be very selective of who he chooses to befriend. Murray had the biggest heart we've ever known, and he impacted so many lives without even realizing it. After his passing, we continue to learn from him by hearing accounts from others of how Murray impacted their lives on such personal levels as well. Murray's wisdom helped us conquer many challenges and frustrations in our lives, and we hope we can impart some of that wisdom to you whenever you need it. You will probably hear us say many things that were original Murrayisms, like, just me, or can I talk? And that's just great. Jacob Murray Toro, you carry the name of a truly exceptional person, and his memory will live on in you as we retell stories of his life. Love, your mommy and your papa.
Congratulations, Murray.
Congratulations on your induction to the Hall of Fame, Murray. We miss you.
What a beautiful tribute and testament to the awesome impact of Coach Drudge, who clearly had an important and substantial part in the lives of his family, friends, and athletes. Present to accept this induction on behalf of Coach Drudge and to say a few words is his brother, John Drudge. Please give him your full attention.
On behalf of the family, I'd like to thank Swim Ontario for Murray's induction into the Swimming Hall of Fame. We're very proud of him, and I know he would be extremely honored and humbled. We miss Murray very much, and I know we're not alone in that. I'd like to read a poem that I wrote probably a week after he passed. It's called Brothers, but I think the sentiment transcends brothers. We should have stayed longer that night. We should have never said goodbye. We should have talked until the small hours and should have been together until the dawn broke us down from the inside. One from each other, brothers, for one more day under a new sun. Once again, I'd just like to thank Swim Ontario for the honor. It's much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, John, for being present with us and for your words. I would ask everyone to now please direct your attention to the next video, which captures some of the substantial contributions and successes of coach and builder Kevin Thorburn.
For 21 years, Kevin Thorburn was at the helm of the Etobicoke Swim Club. In that time, he coached 18 swimmers to Canadian national titles and was part of the Canadian Olympic coaching staff in 1996, 2012, and 2016. Other teams he coached included the World Championships in 2009 and 11, the Commonwealth Games in 1998 and 2002, the Pan-Pacific Championships in 1995, 99, and 2006, the World Short Course Championships in 2016, the Junior World Championships in 2006 as head coach, plus 2011 and 13, the Junior Pan-Pacific Championships in 2009, 10, 14, and 18, and was head coach of the British Short Course Nationals in 2004. As it is with coaches, we measure their impact not only by their successes and achievements, but through their athletes' careers and accomplishments as well. Kevin coached over 600 Manitoba, Saskatchewan, British Columbia, and Ontario provincial records, over 300 national age group records, and over 30 national records. He guided Brittany Maclean to the 2010 Junior Pan Pac Games when she was only 16. Under Kevin's tutelage, she went on to compete at the 2011 Junior World Champion and World Championships and the 2012 Olympic Games before she was 18 years old. Brittany medaled at the 2014 Commonwealth Games and Pan Pac Championships and the 2016 Olympic Games. He coached Amanda Reason to the 2009 Junior Pan Pac team and World Championships and to a long course world record in the 50 breaststroke. Amanda went on to compete at the 2012 Olympic Games. Tobias Orawal was also coached by Kevin. Before the age of 15, Tobias was already named national champion in the 200 back. He went on to compete at the 2001 Worlds and was national champion in 2002 in 50, 100, and 200 meter back and the 200 IM, all before he turned 16. He also represented Canada at the 2002 Commonwealth Games and the 2006 Pan Pac Games. While Coach Thorburn saw great success on the pool deck, the results of his athletes weren't the only thing that made him an incredible coach. Katrina Bellio said, "Kevin has made such a strong and amazing impact on my life. He taught me what it takes to be an amazing leader, teammate, and person. He helped me reach my goal of representing Canada, and I can only hope to carry on his legacy through the rest of my swimming career." Summer Mcintosh described Kevin as simply the best coach ever. She went on to say, "We had a quick connection and special relationship. Kevin made sure I knew he believed in me and made me feel safe to dream as big as possible." Kevin was big on tradition, and every AGI meet, he took a picture of us together on exactly the same tile on the deck so we could have a good giggle and both see how we had grown together year over year. Kevin was always thinking of ways to connect with his swimmers, and I thought this was a special tradition for us. Coach Thorburn left our world too early, but his message that swimming should be a nurturing and challenging experience and that it should be an adventure, not an ordeal, lives on in all the lives that he touched. All anyone can hope for is that we can each make a positive impact in as many lives as Coach Thorburn did. As Jeff Grace wrote in Swim Swam, "You gave us a template for the rest of our lives. We dreamed big, and you taught us how to forge the path. At every opportunity, you molded our mindset. It is because of you I fell in love with the sport and ultimately built my life around it. It is because of you I have been coaching for 25 years and have a successful writing career. It is because of you I hope I have helped many fall in love with swimming through both my coaching and my writing. You not only shaped my life in the water, but you literally saved it."
Hi, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to be able to speak a little bit with regards to Coach Kevin's induction into the Ontario Aquatic Hall of Fame. Obviously, his credentials, his experience, his contribution to swimming, not only provincially, nationally, and internationally, speak for themselves. But, for the last 20 some odd years in Etobicoke, he consistently produced athletes, wave after wave after wave, breaking national records, getting onto national teams, putting people on Olympics. And, we're certainly weaker as a province and as a country without him. But I'd like to take this opportunity to thank him for everything he did for me, for all the talks we had and all the educational opportunities that I was able to take advantage of. I wouldn't be the coach I am today without him, certainly. So I never thought I'd be giving this kind of talk this soon, and obviously a great surprise for all of us that he passed away so soon and so suddenly. But again, it's such an honor for him to be inducted, and so fitting. I can only hope that we can live up to his standards and continue to keep producing age group kids and reinforce to the rest of the country how important club swimming is, because I know that's where his heart was. So thank you again for inducting him, and I hope that we can celebrate his memory. The same thing with Murray. Thank you very much.
I remember when Kevin and Carmen just started dating. We were in Rome, and it was at the end of World Championships. They went on, I guess it would have been their first official date, or maybe one of the first one. And just my sister coming back and being completely smitten by Kevin. And that was just so special to see, because if anybody knows my sister, you know, she's a very passionate woman and she has a very good sense of humor. And I think she found those qualities in Kevin as well. And beyond that brilliant mind of his and all the accomplishments that he achieved during his career, I think the thing that I remember most about Kevin was just, he was just unapologetically himself, and he just always kept it simple. You can just sit down and have a very honest, clean, simple conversation, and you can definitely have a joke or two and just have a good
I loved to walk on the pool deck and see Kevin there, because I knew he'd have some kind of an insight into the sport of swimming that would really intrigue me and really interest me. He knew more about swimming than almost anybody on the pool deck. The other part I liked was that he knew more about trivia about swimming than almost anybody on the deck, and I could go toe-to-toe with him, and we could try to outguess each other. Kevin will be sorely missed. He was one of the top guys on the deck.
So I remember when we used to have our family parties or gatherings, I was always looking forward to seeing Kevin. Maybe because we knew that he was always busy with work. He will never make it to all the family gatherings. We knew that he was always probably traveling, or he was away at a swim meet. But whenever he made it to the family gatherings, I was always looking forward to see him, because I know that at every conversation that we had, he will always have a joke. He always had a good sense of humor. Maybe his own way, but he was trying to always be funny, and we liked that. So thank you, Kevin, for all the memories that we shared together as a family. Please know that you will always have a place in our hearts. So I just want to say thank you, Kevin.
I wanted to say a big congratulations to my coach, Kevin Thorburn, for being inducted into the Ontario Aquatic Hall of Fame. A very deserved honor, and one that I'm very proud to chat quickly about today. My name is Brittany Maclean. I'm a two-time Olympian and proud Etobicoke Swim Club member. I was coached by Kevin from 2009 to 2016. Kevin was one of those people that had the experience, the knowledge, the pride in every day, everything he did, and I think the people that were coached by him or mentored by him could always see that. He shaped me truly into the person I am today, and the impact, especially through the people he coached for 20 plus years, goes so far beyond the 8 lanes of the Etobicoke Olympium. I wanted to thank him for also instilling in me the importance of impacting the next generation and giving back to this sport. Far through my retirement, it's something that I keep holding close to my heart. Eastman was the only club I ever represented, and I wouldn't have it any other way. That team means the world to me. And thanks to Kevin, the people I met, the places I went, are really what shaped my life to this point. I want to thank you, Kevin, and I'm so very proud. Congratulations on this honor. Your legacy continues to live on every day through the athletes that you brought up.
All right, Sienna, what's the favorite thing that you liked about your daddy?
I really like his tickles, and I also really like going to the movies with him, and I also really like going downstairs in the basement and listening to his music.
That's a lot of fun. And what was a special place that you guys had just that the two of you went to?
We went to McDonald's, and when we came back, my dad always told my mom a bit of lies because she wants to know where we went. And I always laugh really hard because I know that we went to McDonald's.
And did your mom not like McDonald's?
At all.
And what, do you know what your daddy does as a profession?
Profession? He's a coach, the best coach. He encourages his swimmers to do better every day.
Awesome.
I would like to say a few words about Kevin. He loved everything about the sport of swimming. It was his true passion, and he was always willing to share his wisdom and experiences with others and was such a great storyteller. Kevin was a coach who made decisions in the best interest of his athletes, and he always recognized the importance of keeping it fun, and he was so proud of his swimmers inside and outside the pool. Kevin truly cared, which is simply all any parent can ask for in a coach.
It's so hard to believe that Kevin has been gone for over a year. I miss him every single day. At Olympic trials, I remember his saying, "Face the race," and we can all picture his signature wave with his arms and hands. Kevin would tell the silliest jokes and stories at practice that would make the entire group laugh. As we continue to come to terms with the loss of our amazing coach, we need to stay together and stay strong, and remember all the memories that can never be taken away from us. Kevin would want all of us to stay resilient, work hard, and support one another, and most importantly, have fun. He would be so proud of all of us.
Hello to all my swimming family. My name is Luis Escobar, and Kevin Thorburn was my brother-in-law. He was also my boss at the Tobico Swim Club and one of my coaching mentors. Kevin will forever be missed, not only because of his outstanding commitment to the sport of swimming in producing world-class swimmers, but he will also be missed for his singularity way of doing things. Kevin enjoyed the sport of swimming so much that he sacrificed his own personal time to spend in matters related to swimming over other things, including spending time with his family and friends. Those who knew Kevin well can agree with me that his sense of humor was a staple of his way of doing things. For instance, I recall a story that he mentioned to me that took place at the first day of training camp of the national team prior to the 2012 Olympics. When the national team director, who at the time was Pierre Lafontaine, I believe, asked each coach to introduce themselves to the swimmers, Kevin was standing beside Randy Bennett and Tom Johnson, who were way ahead of him in the number of times coached at the Olympic Games. But when it was Kevin's turn, he went on to say to the swimmers that the 2012 Olympics were his 10th Olympic Games. But of course, we know that that was only his second Olympic Games as a member of the staff. And the other 8, he was watching from his couch. And of course, everybody laughed and chuckled. But this is how Kevin was. He was very good at making people feel safe. He was very good at making people feel like he was an approachable guy. And he always used his sense of humor. I just want to thank the Swim Ontario for doing this recognition to Kevin. He will be missed, and I believe that he's the one that deserves the most this type of recognition. Thank you, everyone.
Hi all, just want to say a few words about Coach Kevin Thorburn being inducted into the Ontario Aquatic Hall of Fame. The first thing I wanted to mention was the fact that over Kevin's career, his entire career, he consistently produced some of the greatest results we've seen in Canadian history in swimming. You always knew that when Kevin's athletes showed up that they were going to be well prepared and they were going to perform. All the way from the provincial level to the Olympic Games, Kevin's athletes did great. I can't think of a time when they didn't do well. He was always a force to be reckoned with. Kevin, to me, was always a thinking man's coach. He was always thinking about how to prepare his athletes better training sets, better ways of getting them to excel. And that was always an exciting thing to talk to him about whenever we chatted about swimming. He was a friend of mine for over 30 years. I always respected and admired him. And I always thought he was one of the best things we had in Canadian coaching. Absolutely, no question about that. I know he'd be very, very proud to receive this honor. And congratulations for Kevin and to Kevin about being inducted into the Ontario Aquatic Hall of Fame. Very well deserved. Take care, guys.
That he will enjoy a lot about history and historical facts. He will enjoy very much sit down with me and then just go over certain historic information or data, and then tell me sequence by sequence how things happen. He was very anal about that. He liked to showcase his knowledge, right? That was very important for him. He'll like to talk about movies and music as well, with the same passion and the same knowledge that he will enjoy to share. So it was always very entertaining. It was never boring and always very interesting.
Right on. And did Kevin have any hobbies?
Yes, music was a passion of his. Besides the pool, he invested a lot into music records, CDs, and equipment. And when he come home from work, he will go downstairs with his music equipment was, and he will blast a couple of songs to relax and enjoy. So that was definitely the number one hobby. And movies, he will watch movies in certain ways. Like he'll start a movie one night and then come back 3 nights later, continue on for another hour, and then 2 days later finish the movie. Like he will do things like that.
What an important tribute and witness to the significant influence of Coach Thorburn, who clearly had a positive impact on the lives of his friends and athletes. Accepting this induction on behalf of Coach Thorburn is his wife, Carmen Thorburn. We've invited Ms. Thorburn to say a few words. Please attend to the video and give her your full attention.
Hello everybody, my name is Carmen Thorburn and I am Kevin's wife. I would like to thank Swim Ontario for this honor. I am sure Kevin is smiling from up there and sending a big hug to all of us. On behalf of Kevin and his family, I would like to accept this induction to the Ontario Hall of Fame. I could not think of anybody else deserving this recognition more than he does. Swimming was his life, his passion, his fuel, his reason to push harder every day, and his motivation to live a life of high standards and hard challenges. Giving up was never an option for him, and looking ahead was the only way to fight the good fight. He taught me that adulthood was not just about responsibilities, but about thinking big and outside the box. We all get tired of keeping up with all these demands that we have in life. But Kevin was a person that never complained about getting up at 4 a.m. every day, never complained about working holidays or special dates, never complained about long trips, busy competitions, or hard training camps. Because building a program at the level he did had never room for things like that. He had what it takes to be the best and show it to us every day and never hesitated. And I always admired that from him. I think the most important lesson that Kevin left to all of us is to believe that goals are possible, even when they seem unreachable. Sometimes we can create the biggest of the storms when we're pursuing something big, and Kevin was the best at keeping calm and deactivate that storm so that we can see things clearly and able to move forwards. I think it is important to know what is our mission here in this life, what is our essence, so that even when we're physically gone, we're always staying close. We know we miss Kevin dearly, but we know we have him always. And I am sure all of those who love Kevin feel the same way. Thank you, Swim Ontario and Ontario Hall of Fame. We're very proud of Kevin.
Thank you, Carmen, for being here and for sharing with us. It's clear that Coach Thorburn had an important and impactful career and that his spirit continues to live in the hearts of his athletes, family, and friends. The aim of the Ontario Aquatic Hall of Fame is to recognize and honor those persons who made outstanding contributions to aquatic sport in Ontario. As we have witnessed tonight, coaches Murray Drudge and Kevin Thorburn have indeed made outstanding contributions to their sports and in their communities. They acted as leaders and were integral builders and shapers of aquatic sports in Ontario. Their athletes respected and admired them, and their performances reflected their experience and approach on deck. Their colleagues recognized their unique styles and coaching ability, and their value as friends. Ontario Aquatic Hall of Fame recognizes their important contributions and impact, both as leaders in our sport and as humans, making a positive impact in our communities and for our athletes. Drudge and Thorburn have left lasting positive impressions on each individual they coached and mentored. We're grateful for this opportunity to reflect upon their legacies. According to his wife, Rose, one of Drudge's favorite quotes was, what we are in sport echoes for a lifetime. I'll say that again. What we are in sport echoes for a lifetime. In each case tonight, this has certainly been true, and that echo has continued to be shared with each of us. It is my honor and privilege on this momentous occasion to welcome esteemed coaches Murray Drudge and Kevin Thorburn to the Ontario Aquatic Hall of Fame. Thank you, coaches, for your valuable contributions, your friendship, your leadership, your generosity, and for the gift of your legacy. As we come to the end of our induction ceremony tonight, I would like to thank all those who participated and shared with us, those who engaged with us on this new virtual platform, jimsnow for putting together such a lovely tribute for both of our inductees and their families, and to thank the members of the board for their organizational efforts. Thank you all so very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.